This concept of like, are you natty or not? I've never really given a shit about it.
Well, why did he come out and make a video saying, guess what, I'm on testosterone, I'm not natural anymore? Only after his friend outed him. If I don't care about anything, I'm just going to straight up say whatever I'm doing. You can't just say I didn't care. Clearly, you care.
Plus, I also thought to myself, 99% of people will not go over 1,000 nanograms of testosterone naturally. And I want to experiment with my body to see what it's like.
99.9% means 0.1% will. 0.1% of people will actually be above 1,300, not 1,000. It's in fact 98 to 99% will not. He said 99.9. Now, you might not care. That's only 1.9, but it's more than one standard deviation off. It's a lot. You guys don't understand math or statistics and so on, perhaps, so you probably don't care. But he is so far off, it's as if he worked with Mike Isertel on those tables. I literally have a client myself. I've been coaching him for a long time, and he had consistently over 1,200 nanograms per deciliter, 100% natural. And in case you're wondering, he's not huge. He's about 5'7", 130 pounds, and he lifts weights. Looks great. He has muscle, he's lean, but he's not an Adonis, a huge mountain of a man, despite lifting for 7 years. And so just because he always has excessively high testosterone, so high, perhaps only 0.02% of the population has testosterone as high as he does, it doesn't mean that he can easily put on muscle.
When someone hops on steroids, like they'll often take 3 to 4 times as much testosterone. And then they'll often take Deca, Debol, Tren.
How do we know he's only taking test? I mean, he says in this other video that's not deleted right now that he takes peptides. How do we know he hasn't experimented with Anavar, with Proviron, with whatever? How do we know he isn't also taking, for example, Ozempic, Tirzepatide, Retatrutide? How do we know he isn't using polypharmacy? Does he in fact use Cialis? Is that why he's waking up with those morning woods? If you want medication prescribed by your doctor, of course, Algorex can do that if it's legal. Remember, it has to be 100% legal. They're not going to prescribe you anything illegal. And these are pharmaceutical medications. And so if you're interested, Algorex, code Greg, 10% off. Click the link in the description.
I've never done an actual steroid blast. All I've done is just stay on 150 milligrams of testosterone a week. And this protocol is very similar to TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy.
I do believe it's perhaps testosterone optimization therapy. But when your test levels are at 1,500, that's not a replacement dose. Testosterone replacement therapy.
And they'll usually take about the same amount that I've taken, which is 150 milligrams per week. 150, it's not a crazy high dose for taking testosterone per week.
Now I want to highlight this. The typical dosing range is 100 to 250 milligrams per week. The goal is to tailor the dose based on how you feel and respond. 250 milligrams a week for almost everyone in this world is way too high. I'm on 140, and remember, I'm a professional bodybuilder who abused steroids for years, for about 10 years. I know other people prescribed 80 milligrams and their testosterone levels are higher than 1,000. I don't know anyone who's on 250 who isn't at a super physiological range. 250 milligrams per week, I don't care who's prescribing it, that is a mini cycle.
Even saying that though, I seem to have been a hyper responder because even with this dose, my testosterone levels shot.
Kirk! Now, hyper responder, when he says he's a hyper responder, absolutely. Nothing wrong with being a hyper responder. That's a great thing. For hyper responders, you can lower the dose. Instead of 150, he probably could do 100. 100 milligrams per week, he'd probably still be above 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. But he didn't need it. Bro was in his 20s, and he already had free testosterone, the testosterone that your body's going to use, above the reference range. He posted it. Of all the blood work that he posted one test. That was when he was natural. Here's one thing you need to know. It's not just your total testosterone, but your free testosterone that matters. If you're at 1,500 nanograms per deciliter and SHBG, it's through the roof. It's really high. It's going to bind to the testosterone, rendering less of the testosterone actually available for use. And so before he took testosterone, his free testosterone, the active portion, was above the reference range. Why would you ever want to ruin that? You already look good, you're feeling good. And so to then add testosterone, it makes no sense.
Within just about 1 month of starting this protocol, I seem to have gained about 6 to 12 months of muscle mass progress.
He says he got 6 to 12 months in the first month. It was more than a year's worth of results. And in his previous video, he said he put on 3 kilograms of muscle. That's 6.6 pounds. After you've been training for 9 or 10 years, you're not going to gain 6.6 pounds in a year. Hardly anyone. I mean, it's possible some will, perhaps 0.1%, whatever. But you can see just by looking that this is more than 1 month worth of results. And so if he was just replacing his testosterone levels, you wouldn't be seeing these kind of ridiculous gains.
But it was like this next level feeling of energy through the day, which is just so nice to have. Like, that's so valuable to feel like 25, 30, 40% better.
And so remember, Hamza didn't want to make a video that would encourage teenagers to ever want to use testosterone. And so as he describes his use of testosterone, HRT, what message comes clear? Testosterone's awesome. I mean, it wasn't just gaining in the gym all the time, putting on more muscle. It was feeling the energy, just feeling superhuman, feeling amazing. The problem is, what happens when you come off? Once you go on HRT, it's for life. You're 25, and say you live to be 85, it's 60 years you have to do this. You can't stop. If you stop, your testicles, they're going to shrivel down. You're then going to have a very difficult time getting an erection. Your sex drive, it's going to go in the toilet, and all those gains that you made, how easy it was to gain each and every week, you're going to lose just as easily or more each and every week, and perhaps even go to a worse physique than when you started. You're not going to want to go to the gym. You're going to hate training. You're most likely going to lose a ton of muscle while adding tremendous amounts of fat all at the same time. That's what happens to most people. And what about the mental? Well, whatever energy you felt, the drive to train that you felt, perhaps you wanted to train harder, to work harder, all of these things, maybe even you were more confident. It's all going down. It's all going away. Your motivation, it's tanked. Do you know how many people I've seen go to the gym and lock in? I'm locked in. Yeah, you're on steroids. It's not hard to lock in right now. Oh, you got 4 months in you. Locked in for 4 months. They train hard. Eat right. Great. Bravo. You did it with steroids. You cheated. Great. Amazing. The cycle ends, and you know what happens? Now it's time to go off. All good things come to an end. Now, do you know what happens? I don't want to go to the gym anymore. I don't want to lock in. My winter arc's over. Turk it. Don't care. Yeah, let's have some pizza. And they lose all of their gains. In comparison, bro who just consistently trains natural, they lock in steady. Perhaps they don't go 7 days a week, they go 5. They do their 150 minutes of cardio and they're training in the gym. They're being consistent. That person is going to outperform the person who goes on steroids for 4 months and then stops. The back and forth, it's not where it's at. It's being consistent. And if you once try testosterone, even in HRT doses, very hard to ever go back. If you go to that next level and you feel like Superman or Captain America, whatever, how are you then going to go to the gym and train without that pump, without that drive, without that motivation? It's hard. And so my advice, don't use testosterone, HRT, until you really, actually, genuinely need it. I can't be a hypocrite. I abused steroids. I was in my 30s. I wanted to get an IFBB Pro card. I wanted to make a living from having a pro card, coaching, and all of these things. And I decided to use steroids. Now, will that take years off of my life? Probably. I mean, frankly, most likely, yes. I'm hoping not. And so I do everything in my power to try to prevent that. I still go to the gym. I race bikes 7 days a week. I have less emphasis on lifting weights, more on doing cardio, and I eat very, very healthy. And so I'm doing my best to undo the damages. But if you just watch Hamza's video, be careful. Most likely, if you're watching Hamza, you're 14 years of age. Maybe there's some 16 years old out there, 18, 19, and maybe there's a couple who are actually watching him in their 20s. You know, not everyone is of equals. And hey, perhaps you got bamboozled from him. Perhaps he charmed you into believing him. But Hamza is not a quality source of information. I'm telling you, I know when I see it. I've been around the game for a long time. I'm old enough to be this guy's father. I'm 50. And remember, I pushed 50 keys of Turk across the border. And this is, in fact, 100% natural. Now, I do work with Algor X. They can prescribe HRT and so on. But this is natty. 100% natty. And so why would anyone want to use HRT and clomiphene and so on until they've at least experimented with Turk Builder Max and Turk Platinum? Increase energy, recover faster, stronger. Guys, this is it. The #1 natural supplement in the world, way better than creatine. Some of you don't believe me. The problem is most of the Ajuga turkistanica on the market, which people call Turk, is fake. It's called cyanosis. It's a different plant. It still has ecdysteroids. There's a little bit of benefit from it, but not nearly as much as this. And so other people who had the copycat plant, I mean, you already know these names. I've already named them enough. Do I need to keep naming them? Turkplex. When you use fake products, pretending to have what I have, you're not going to get the same results. You tried their company and you're like, oh, it's not that good. You didn't try mine. This is the real deal. The others, perhaps you're going to get 10% the benefits, perhaps as much as 25%. But this, it's more powerful than ever before. And so if you want to see what the hype is about, you can try it risk-free. 100% money-back guarantee, and on top of that, a $20 gift card. What do you have to lose? Code Greg, 15% off.
So one day I was in the gym and I was doing kettlebell snatches, almost like an overhead press, but from the floor like this. And I got this tweak, like this spike of pain in my lower back on the left side.
Why didn't he say, you know what? I was feeling so good and so strong, and I started to eagle lift doing those kettlebell swings. I pushed myself a little bit too hard, because when you use steroids, testosterone, your muscles get stronger than your ligaments and their tendons. And so I hurt myself. I injured myself because I got too strong. You all seen the Trend twins get stronger than last time, eventually tearing a pec? This is very common. And so when you use testosterone, you need to go to the gym and be more careful. You're going to have the extra aggression, the drive, the energy, but your muscles are going to likely get you injured because you're too strong for your own good. You need to be careful. Don't ego lift. And so go slower on the eccentric, faster on the concentric, pause, squeeze, stretch, and make sure that you don't get injured.
This time I was taking testosterone. When I went to sleep and I woke up the next day, about 90% of it was gone.
Sounds like he had a cramp in the QL, quadratus lumborum, and he was simply unable to walk, and then it relaxed. Oftentimes the body is going to contract, the muscles contract to prevent a further injury. It's very common, and perhaps it's not the QL, it could be a different muscle, but when you recover that quickly, when it normally takes weeks, remember, if you tear a muscle, testosterone is going to suddenly magically repair it in one day. Neither is TB500 or BPC 157. They don't work that well. Perhaps they can double the rate of healing, but it's not going to make it 14 times faster.
Usually I would have gotten to this level of recovery after about 2, 3, 4 weeks. It was like 24 hours later, I had recovered as much as usually it would take me naturally like 3, 4 weeks to do.
I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would say that this guy is selling testosterone because, hey, I want to buy it.
For me, I actually came off for a few months earlier this year. For me, honestly, I felt basically no difference in terms of like testosterone symptoms.
One thing also to understand is that he didn't really go off testosterone for a very long time. If you only stop for a few months, you might not have had enough time to completely feel how bad it is. For the first 6 weeks after I stopped using testosterone, I genuinely feel amazing. The testosterone that you're using, it hasn't completely exited your system. Not everyone feels the same. He's saying he felt amazing. We haven't seen his blood work. We don't know if his testosterone levels crashed. We don't know if he went on enclomiphene, if he did a PCT. And so, for example, if he'd been studying this for years and he had a doctor and he said, you know, I'm going to be on HRT, I'm going to do testosterone 150 milligrams a week, and now I'm going to come off for a few months. Is it not possible that the doctor would prescribe enclomiphene, which will artificially boost your testosterone levels? If he used testosterone and cut out cold turkey without adding in anything, you're going to feel far worse than if you use other products, for example, enclomiphene. And so remember, if you are on testosterone, you're already on a cycle, you're doing it on your own, and you don't know what to do, get your blood work done. How do you know if you're not doing the damage that you may be doing? You don't know what damages you could be doing.
I started taking testosterone at the start of last year, 2024. But before that, I was completely natural.
I wouldn't go to bat for him. Would you go on a lie detector test? Would he be like a Hussein Farhat? Remember, he went on a lie detector test, and if he loses, he has to pay $500,000. He promises 100% natural. Now, he doesn't look natural. It's not likely that he was natural. But 4 times he did the blood work. 4 times. Posted it 4 times. And, of course, the lie detector test. And so even if you don't believe him, even if you don't like him, you got to admit he did the most that he could to prove that he's natural. What about Hamza?
This concept of like, are you natty or not? I've never really given a shit about it because for me, I optimize for just the way that I feel like day to day.
Well, why did he come out and make a video saying, guess what, I'm on testosterone, I'm not natural anymore? only after his friend outed him. If I don't care about anything, I'm just going to straight up say whatever I'm doing. I don't care. I'm this, I'm that, I'm doing this, I'm taking that. But if you hide it for a year and a half and you only reveal it when somebody outed you, you can't just say, I didn't care. Clearly, you care.
I won't speak about these kinds of things so much on this main channel because most of the people who watch this channel are a little bit younger. But my advanced channel is where I'll speak about more of these things.
Like if you didn't care, why did you post the video? Only to then remove the video. And on your other channel, you're acting like, oh, nobody could ever see that video. You only think people above the age of 25 can see the other channel? Teenagers only know how to find Hamza on one of his YouTube videos. It doesn't make any sense. It's literally called Hamza Advanced. You know, there's no way a teenager is smart enough to find Hamza Advanced. His name is in the title, Hamza Advanced. How hard could that be?
And that's also where I've made the full superhuman body protocol. It's like hours and hours long that you can go watch for free of like way more detail.
And FYI, during that entire time, he gained about 20 pounds of muscle during this HRT protocol. He started at 78 or 80 kilograms. He ended up at, 88 or 92 kilograms, varying levels of body fat. But I remember watching, it was about 20 pounds of muscle. And so clearly not just replacement doses. You don't gain 20 pounds of muscle from simply using very low levels of testosterone prescribed by a doctor that keep you in the natural reference range. I mean, it's possible if you were at below 150 nanograms per deciliter, you had actual needs for testosterone, your body wasn't producing it properly, and then you go to normal levels. But if you're already producing normal levels and you produce a little bit higher normal levels, you're not putting on 20 pounds. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. Of course, for coaching, you can click the link in the description. And remember, if you're interested in any of the supplements, you can use code Greg for 15% off. If you're interested in being an HTLT sponsored athlete or an ambassador, you can click the link there as well. And until next time, I am out.